Table analysis question. So what is a table analysis question? In this type of questions, the dataset is presented in a spreadsheet or a table format. For example, on your screen. In table analysis question, we are given an extra feature which is a sort by column. Using this, we can sort the table according to any column we want. For example, right now on your screen we have sorted it by unemployment rate of May. So we can see that the unemployment rate of May column, that's in ascending order. Similarly, when we click on this sort by, we get all the column headings. Right now we have sorted it by state. So we can see the state column, that's in alphabetical order. Now the questions of table analysis. Here the questions are multiple dichotomous choice or conditional statement type. That means they are asking whether a statement is true or false or yes and no and so on. Generally we get 3 to 4 subparts in table questions, and as we know, whenever there are subparts, all the parts must be correct to claim credit for the question. Now one concept that is generally tested in table analysis is the concept of proportionality. So let's do a quick recap of the concept of proportionality. In concept of proportionality, there are two types of proportion: direct proportion and inverse proportion. Two terms are said to be in direct proportion if the ratio is constant. For example, on your screen, A and B are in direct proportion because their ratio is constant. This means when A increases, to keep the ratio constant, B must also increase. On the other hand, if A decreases, B should also decrease. Hence, A and B are in direct proportion. Again, terms are in inverse proportion if their product is constant. For example, on your screen, here if A increases, to keep the product constant, B must decrease. Similarly, if A decreases, B must increase to keep the product constant. Till this point, it was the bit basics of proportion, and students generally don't face issues here. But students face issues in questions where they confuse proportion with correlation. To clear this issue, let's see the difference between correlation and proportion from the GMAT point of view. Let's proceed. Difference between correlation and proportion. The fundamental difference between correlation and proportion is, in correlation, not all data points need to follow the same pattern, but majority points follow the same pattern, then the data is said to be in correlation. For example, the table on your screen. In this example, every pair of points may not follow the same pattern, but the majority of the pairs are following the pattern. If we visualize the given data points in a scatter plot, the trend becomes clearer. We see for the given data points, the overall sentiment of the graph tends to increase vertically with a horizontal increase. This is happening because majority of the pairs out of the 10 pairs are following the same pattern. But for the data set to be in proportion, each and every data point should follow the same rule of proportionality, which is ratio or product should be constant depending on the type of proportionality we are dealing with. This is why whenever we represent a proportional data in a scatter plot, it would always form a straight line. If it is a rising line, the data is in direct proportion. Now, based on this much of information, let's try an official question of table analysis testing the concept of proportionality.